What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and as I like to do every Saturday, my friends, I want to put together a video showing you the highlighted bosses for this week's Chaos Chamber run. As most of you know by now, every week they do change the bosses, therefore today I wanted to show you the farms not only in the Chaos Chamber but in the open world as well. Now if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit that like button as well, and remember we are currently having a giveaway for an Xbox Series X. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on July 4th of this year. One thing I'd like to mention as we begin is most of you know by now there was a DLC bug last Thursday when they brought out the new DLC, and for a lot of you out there, you lost progression with your characters as well as some inventory. Now, all of those issues should be fixed. However, if you are still having problems, please let me know in the comment section down below. With all that being said, let's jump into the actual farming itself. Now, when you're doing the Chaos Run, you need to make sure of two things. First of all, you have to be playing online, and secondly, you want to do the featured run because that's where you going to run into the featured bosses. As far as your chaos level is concerned, that's really up to you. Obviously, the higher the chaos level equals the better loot you may find. When you're at 35, you have the option of getting, or the ability, of hopefully getting primordial loot as well. But you can see here I'm on 30. I do get a few volatile and chaotic gear, plus some legendaries as well. The first boss you'll be facing in this run is the Mushroom Monster, then a little bit further along you'll find Oculus, and one thing I want to mention, especially for new players, is that the route that you take in order to get here does not matter, and here I mean, just throughout the entire Chaos Run. Like, you can choose easy or hard, it's completely up to you. Many of you have reached out to the channel asking me what do I typically do in a Chaos Run. For me, I always pick the easy route. The only buff I pick up is ammo because I don't want to run out of, obviously, ammo. But other than that, I just stockpile the crystals for the end so I can hit that targeted loot when you get to the loot chamber. Now, for those of you that haven't either reached endgame as yet or you're kind of burnt out from doing Chaos Runs, you can also hit these bosses up individually in the open world. So we're going to start with the Mushroom Boss. You can see here I'm in the Wheat Wild Dankness, and you're going to go to the Busted Ass Ruins. Once you load into this location, I mean, at least this is what I do. I put a customized marker because you're going to the Obelisk Farm, which is right there. That's where you're going to find the boss that is featured this week. Now, on your way to that location, you'll also be encountering some other enemies. You can bypass this first little spot. I recommend hitting it up. There are some badass enemies there. You can get a lot of good loot, but if you want to go just to the obelisk, you follow this path, and that's exactly where you'll find it. And one of the best things about these featured runs, in my opinion, is that you're going to get that extra loot from bosses regardless of where they are. So even though they are featured in the Chaos Chamber, when you farm them individually in the open world, you do have the chance of getting really, really good loot. And as I mentioned earlier, for those of you that are not at endgame as yet and you've beaten these bosses or found these obelisks already, you can farm these spots over and over again. There's no need to go into the Chaos Chamber at all. You don't have to go through any different steps in order to get to the bosses, and it really makes it incredibly efficient to get a lot of loot in a short amount of time. What I tend to do is farm these bosses 3 or 4 times in a row, see what I can scoop up, and then bounce to the next one. Which brings me to an important factor, which is, how to respawn or reload your character after you've farmed a boss. Now, most of you know by now, you have multiple options in regards to respawning your character. You can save and exit, you can down your character, however that does cost gold, you can change your Chaos Run, or you can fast travel back to Brighthoof. Now, typically I'll use fast travel because that allows me to go to a vending machine, get more loot, sell items I don't want, and refill my health if I need to. Now moving on to the next boss who is featured in this week's run, you're going to find Oculus in the Sunfang Oasis. You want to go to the Everfrost Ice Tomb, and you're going to go to this marker on the map, which is another obelisk, and again, I recommend putting it on there. That way you know exactly what direction to go in. Now there does happen to be a little bit of travel time in between where you load into the game and the boss is located. However, once you get to this point right here, you do find a save point location, so from now on, every time you load back in to find this boss over and over again, you will respawn right by the obelisk. And once again, my friends, the pattern is exactly the same. You open the obelisk, you take out the enemies, you take out the boss, you rinse and repeat any way you want, and again, because these are the featured bosses, you're going to get a ton of good loot in a short amount of time, and as always, I sincerely hope this video helps you out. With all that being said, my friends, I want to take a moment as always and thank you all for your your incredible support of this channel and my Tiny Tina's Wonderlands footage. And look, I know recently it's been really tough for the game. I know a lot of people have left. And in my opinion, I have so much hope for this game. There's so much potential. I still am really enjoying playing the game. There are a lot of bugs that are going on. And in my opinion, the biggest things are the drastic nerfs and buffs and different things that happens. But I'm hoping this starts to even things out and we're in a much better place very soon. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about having the channel is the community we have here. So if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know in the section down below and I will try to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. However, like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit that like button as well. But most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.